Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition and episode of Positive Traction with your host, Henry, aka Moi. And today, I have the pleasure of sharing with you guys a seasoned health and fitness influencer. Miss Sandy is the founder and owner of Etiquette and Thrive Within. And she has a repertoire of many accomplishments. One of having a chance to be an Ironman, and you do physique and bodybuilding. And of course, how I met you was through my boy and the fitness world of equipment. So I'm going to stop there because they want to hear more about this beautiful young lady. Sandy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I feel so honored to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you again. So, Sandy, to kind of dive into it, let's kind of premise a little bit about kind of your passion, because I think that led to these two companies that bring ingredients. So, what kind of started your fitness passion? Because that triggered all of it.
Yes, it did. So my fitness passion started when I was in high school. I didn't know what it took to look like one of those girls in fitness magazines, you know, when Shape, Hers Fitness. And I would always look through those pages and I would always be like, man, I want abs. How do I get abs? How do I get this? And it became an obsession. I was in dance in high school. I did track and field. I started weightlifting sophomore year of high school. So I've always enjoyed being active. I was in cheerleading when I was in elementary school, part of flag team in middle school, and then dance in high school. So it's always been engraved in my head to like do things. But bodybuilding started with me, researching the World Wide Web. And then one day I discovered bodybuilding.com. And
I remember that.
Yeah, that was like where all the OGs started.
Yeah.
And then I became, like I said, obsessed with research. And something about me is once I like or want to know about something, I will dig deep until I find the answers.
Like a real life private eye, right? Like
Yes.
you're like, so hopefully you never have to look that into my life. Okay. Keep it like just chill.
Yeah. I will
Yes.
dig until I find it.
It's like that one movie, I Will Find You.
Yeah. They say like girls are very like legit investigators. I truly think we are. Like we're born to be.
I will not deny that. I will not deny that.
Yeah. So that's how it became. And then I actually, some of the influencers that I idolize actually got to meet in real life, and they became kind of like people that I looked up to, and I started this journey of bodybuilding. I hired a coach to pretty much help me with competing in my first shows. I was part of a team called Team Zero Gravity. I believe they're still around. I competed in 5 shows. I did 3 regional shows, meaning all the ones were like local in Los Angeles, here in Culver City. And then I did 2 national shows. I was first part of a team, and then I hired Dennis James, who is an IFBB pro. And then at the time, they were really the ones that taught me everything there is to weight training the proper way, how to focus, really tune in on my diet for my own body type.
Right. And I love it. And I'm going to dive in there and kind of start unpacking this a little bit for people, because one of the biggest things I want to help in this show is to help people take something and apply it. Right.
Yes.
Because, you know, like you said, you saw the women in the magazine. You could have just left it there or just peeked, but you actually dove in. You got to meet some of these ladies that you really admired. And then what I hear you saying is that you went and seeked the best in coaching. That means you put money into it. So you definitely became committed to this cause.
Yes.
Right. Which I love and admire, because that's well spent money, education. You went and got it. And then I love how you just ended that part of you found a way for it to work for you. And that's what we need to understand, because there's so many different ways out there. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to share your journey, because especially being a female, I understand, because I have daughters and I have sisters, and I see the influence of people that only do it for the money and only sell what they're going to be their biggest sponsor.
Yeah.
And not understand the effects of some of these people that really need guidance,
Yes.
right? So we're going to kind of jump into that, leading to you really look into some more products that help you. So let's kind of leap there. Can you tell us about some of the products or some of the things that have helped you on this path and why?
So, in the beginning of my fitness journey, I started off just like anyone else where I was clueless. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know what the difference between gluten-free oats were at the time, what steel co like I was like, why is there so many options?
Right.
And it becomes overwhelming. So, I think that the best thing I did for me was kind of, yes, teach myself, but not overwhelm myself with, I guess, with so much noise and really figuring out what's right for my body type. So, I'm allergic to wheat and dairy. So there's a lot of things that my stomach and my body can't handle compared to everybody else. So there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to nutrition or supplementation, I should say. It's just everybody's going to react differently. I like to use like skincare as an analogy just because, the skincare works great for this person doesn't mean it's going to work great for me. So I really had to go through lots of trial and error to figure out what is good for me. And I'm still going through that. I'm learning as I'm getting older. Now I'm not in my young 20s anymore. I'm actually in my late 30s. Things are different. Things don't work the same.
Right.
So with supplementation, one of the things that I do really enjoy is things to help give me energy. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I love pre-workout. And a lot of people think that, yes, it is bad that it is artificially sweetened. But to me, in my honest opinion, I get so much more benefit from taking a pre-workout. Of course, ingredients do matter because nowadays there's so many types of pre-workouts out there that you can choose from, or just options. Some have 300 milligrams of caffeine, some have 600 milligrams of caffeine. Right. So I experienced so much pre-workout that I know exactly how much I can take.
Yes.
So I think if you're a beginner just starting supplements, I think it's, try something a little bit more natural. So try something with green tea extract. There's yerba mate versus going to the strongest pre-workout. Then it's going to make you feel a little bit crazy. But at the end of the day, pre-workout really, the main scope of it is nitric oxides. So nitric oxides is what gives your body the endurance to continue lifting in the gym or running, or if you're taking a yoga class where sometimes you feel really fatigued and really tired and sore. I feel like that little boost is going to help you get through that pain or give you the energy to push through that session.
Yeah, absolutely. When I think, look, and that's why I want to unpack this area. And again, we have quite a bit to cover. So, and that is, look, what I hear from you is to be able to kind of find your journey as step, eyes open, question things, do your homework, do your research.
Correct.
And great data, like you said, but just like, and I definitely agree with you that pre-workout is, listen, when you're having great workouts, you need that kick, right? Especially that is better than a chemical one in the sense of a Red Bull or something, because that's not meant for that kind of workout.
Yeah, they're two different things.
Two different things. But I agree with you that if you start small dosages or a green tea or something more natural initially, because your body might react good to that. Because if you go right for the big stuff, then now your body is used to that.
Yeah.
And then it's downhill from there. So, okay. So now since you're in your later 30s, as you said, still look phenomenal.
Thank you.
So what is something that could be a quick little tidbit for someone that's in their early 20s or late teens that can maybe they still got to find their way, but what's maybe 2 or 3 things you would have told yourself how to get there? And I don't want to say faster, like cutting things out, but wiser maybe.
I would say recovery. I think a lot of people forget that sleep is such a big thing. When I was younger, I always wanted to do, of course I had more energy back then too, but I think a lot of people forget to kind of slow down and kind of heal their body. Like stretching is very important. I think a lot of men and females too, right? Like we forget that as we younger, when you're a child, you can run and play, you can climb and do all these things. You're so flexible. But as we get older and we start to develop a little bit more muscle, we forget that stretching and recovery is just as important as building. So if I would have told my younger self to slow down a little bit, I have time, and I see working out as I have the rest of my life to do this.
Right.
Right. So I I don't like saying, I'm going to only work out or go on a diet because somebody's wedding is next week, or
Right.
I'm going on vacation. This is like a long-term journey. There's
Hmm.
no end goal. We have to look at it as this journey for the rest of our life.
Right.
What is sustainable, right? So even if and stop putting so much pressure on myself. I used to think I have to do countless hours of cardio or be at the gym for 2 hours for it to be effective. But I've learned that is not true. I can get a killer workout in just 15 minutes
Right.
if I really focus on what I'm doing, and of course mind muscle connection, and making sure in those 15 minutes I'm going all in.
Right.
Because you can be in a gym for 2 hours and you take lots of rest periods,
Yeah.
Or
Check
it's
your
like
phone
I
all
was,
the time.
yeah, I was at the gym for 2 hours. Like, great, but did you really work out?
Right. No, I think that's great. And now, because you do have a following, you have people that do respect your journey. What is one thing on the fitness side, and then we're going to
Mhm.
move over to the skin for a moment. What is something on the fitness side that you would hear is, I don't want to say a compliment, but what is the most requested feedback of people that interact with you that you would think like that ask you questions or that you feel you see yourself sharing your story that people relate to?
One is, how do I find the motivation or maintain the muscle, right? And I
Mm,
think um, for me, one of the things that I prioritize is I don't really focus so much on cardio, but I make sure I do weight training. A lot of
mhm.
females think that, even, my sister, for example, they think that weight training or lifting too heavy is going to make them look bulky or buff. It's a misconception that you're going to look like a girl on steroids, which is
Right.
completely opposite,
Right.
right? I think females should not be afraid to lift heavy. Lifting is what's going to give you that toned look. It's
Hmm.
impossible for our DNA for us to look like a man. And it takes
Right.
so much years of training to build muscle. So that is like the least thing that you should be concerned about.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, weight training, that would be the biggest thing to look toned and maintain your muscle. And obviously nutrition. Nutrition is, I would say, hand in hand, what I get requested for the most, what
I
I eat.
Yeah, I love it. And I've seen a couple of your things. One of your yoga moves was pretty cool, like diving in there deep, so
Yeah.
that was good. Okay, so I love that you shared that. And I think that is a common thing and a common myth of people, right? Especially with
Hmm.
women. And it's going to make you look, if it was that easy, there'd be a lot of women and men walking around. It's not that
Yeah,
easy.
it's not easy.
No. And even then, I agree with you. I love tone. Especially on females, it looks great, and it's also good as you get older.
Uh-huh.
That is what's going to really protect the muscles.
Yes.
And so,
Hmm.
now let's go into the skin care a little bit on that, because you're very careful and articulate about what you put into your body on the
Yes.
surface as well. So kind of share that and why that's important to you.
Skincare. I think this started when I was younger. Maybe it's an Asian thing, but my parents always made us these herbal soups. Hydration is everything, where you want to heal your body inside out, because what's going in is going to come out. And I'm really big on skincare because I think that it's an organ. It's just
Right.
as important as what you put inside. I think SPF and protecting yourself from UV rays and everything, and is just as important as our food. So I like to keep things simple. I have pretty sensitive skin as well, so I've learned that throughout the years what not to put on my skin, and really keep it simple too. I think
Yeah.
nowadays, with so much on social media, people think you need to have a 10-layer skincare routine, or 10-step, I should say. But no, sometimes it's just as simple as just cleansing your face before you go to bed, moisturizing, and knowing what your skin type and skin concerns are. For me, I'm really big on hyperpigmentation. Like, I don't like any dark spots. So I really focus on putting vitamin C on my skin, exfoliating, and hydrating. I think that's one thing we forget, right? We need to moisturize our skin so that we protect the skin barrier.
I love that. And it's see, so point one I got from you, and point two on this one is being able to really keep it simple. keep
Yeah.
the routine simple, start with that. And I think also pay attention to your body, right? If you know that you need a little bit more in an area, go research. Like we started by you sharing that you like diving in and getting your information. I think that's so important. Now, so that's kind of a very quick way summed up your fitness in that area and your skincare. Now, that led to you representing all kinds of different brands in different avenues. So let's talk about the business side of you now,
Okay.
because I think that's great. Not only you as a female are looking great and backing it up with the habits that you've created, but in order to continue to look great, business wise, and your brand, how's that come and what are you doing with that?
So my businesses started, well, let me backtrack a little bit just so everyone has a little idea of how I started. I've been in the sports supplement health and wellness industry for about 12 years now. It's crazy to even say that.
Yeah.
My fitness journey started in 2013. That's when I started competing. That's when sponsorships with brands really started. There wasn't a lot of sports supplement companies.
Right.
And at the time, how I started was I competed and then I started reaching out to a lot of different companies and I landed on one, which I'm actually back with now. It's called GAT Sport. And I started off as a demo rep for them where I was just sampling. I was a little demo girl, mixing drinks for everyone, educating, doing all these demos at vitamin shops and really educating myself on the benefits of sports supplements. Eventually that led me to doing sales. I did West Coast sales for them. And eventually I started doing international sales. I moved to Florida for 3 years. That's where I managed a few different countries. I had all of Asia, Australia, New Zealand, India, Russia, lots of countries. At one point I traveled to 12 different countries. And that really opened my eyes to business. Doing world business globally and domestically here in the US is completely different. So when I finally decided to come back here to the States, COVID hit. And that was a moment where I'm sure a lot of people struggled. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Right. I was confused. And I really had to take a step back to figure out what did Sandy want to do? Because I loved health and fitness. So eventually I got back into sports supplement world. But then that also started a hobby for me during COVID. We're just working out. I was doing yoga classes at home with my sister. But one of the things that that really annoyed me was I couldn't find good underwear to wear with my leggings. Yeah. So it took me 2 years to find the perfect like elastic and I guess I would say cotton. At the time, I decided I wanted to go with Supima cotton, and I went through the final samples. I was going to get it manufactured from Hong Kong here, but then that contract fell through. They're like, we can no longer take any new clients. It was COVID. I'm so sorry. We're only going to focus on our big clients. So in the moment, I was like, of course, really sad. I was like, oh my gosh, you spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars making these samples. And then that led me to finding a manufacturer here in LA. So that was like a blessing in disguise. And I completely went a different route. And then I discovered this fabric called Tencel Lyocell. I ended up getting trademark for that for Etiquette. And 2 years later, that's how Etiquette was born. I found a specific and it's only one item now. It's my baby project. Right. It's a thong specifically because I wanted something, that would fit my body type. Even though I'm tiny, I'm 4'10", like 105 pounds. But I would say like I am not a straight skinny like girl. I have curves. I work out. I have muscle. And I was never able to find underwear that fit me. It was always like a size small, but a size small would be too tight on my hips. Right. Or it would be like seamless underwear that kept rolling when you... I think only women can understand this struggle.
I want to say this is a girl struggles, but again, I've been around it enough. So I'm going to say
you have daughters.
I can sympathize with that.
So that was the struggle, and that led me to starting Etiquette. But before that, I actually started Thrive Within, which is my business consulting company, and that I found it because there was I realized there was an era, not an era, but there was a gap in helping businesses grow from all different avenues, right? Whether it be business management to managing your team to doing payroll to doing sales to there's a lot that goes into a business that a lot of people don't see, from starting your LLC, getting an S corp, getting your business licenses, getting your seller's permit. There's a lot of layers that I didn't know what to do when I first started. So that's where my passion came out, and I love helping business owners pretty much figure out what their issues are and me helping them build from there. Whether it's developing a product from fitness gear to managing a team of girls. I managed a team of, I believe, 5 to 8 girls at the time at a lash salon here in Los Angeles. And it was such a great time because you really see that not one business runs exactly the same as any other business.
Well, I think, and also because obviously business is one of my favorite things now is I love to help people like you do. And there is a huge gap. There's a huge gap in people getting good knowledge, especially when it comes to business and people's money, right? How's it go? So I love that. So now you have, I'm going to say at this point now you have a foundation through different channels, but you kept going forward. So just to recap on that, what is something, if you had to sum up in a very short, descriptive manner, someone listening saying, I'm trying to get on a fitness journey. I'm trying to launch a new business. I'm stuck in my fitness. I'm stuck. So there's two common denominators. What is something that helps you? Because you said one of the questions, how do you stay motivated? So how do you, telling yourself, knowing what you know now, how would you summarize a cheat sheet, a quick little sneak peek of wisdom?
A lot of people feel like they don't have enough time in the day to get anything done. And I think it's prioritizing your time and making sure that you hold yourself accountable and knowing that there's an answer to everything. To me, I always feel like we can achieve anything we want to, pretty much. So to stay motivated, it could be, don't overwhelm yourself. Give yourself, the first thing you wake up, feed yourself a good nutrition meal, get a quick 15-minute workout in, 20-minute workout. Or if you want to multitask, hop on a treadmill, do an incline walk, multitask, get your thoughts clear before you start the day.
Right.
Or if you're not a morning person, you do that vice versa. Do it at night when you get home to kind of unwind before you have dinner or after dinner, anytime. I would say, and always just one step at a time.
Yeah.
Like what is the next thing that you have to do? If you want to start a business, the first step is to, do you want to start an S corp? Do you want to start an LLC? What type of business? And then after that, do that. And then figure out what the next step is. After you incorporate, do you need any business licenses? And I would say that was the biggest thing. Don't overwhelm yourself to like what the big picture is. And I think that's what stops a lot of people from getting to the next step is because they overwhelm themselves with, I have to do so much, and then they don't know where to start.
No, and I agree with you. I think that's a great tip to yourself or to anyone listening is to keep it simple, but take the complexity. Yeah. It is because at the end of the day, sometimes, yes, we all need to have goals. But like you said, at the end of the day, if you are wanting to start a business and your heart and passion is into that, then it's just a matter of finding the right tools to help aid in that, like you said. And then you get the right people around you. And you started that at a young age. You were able to have the wisdom to go get people that are already doing that successfully. So now let's bring it to one of your current ventures. And how we met was through our friend Anthony at Functional Fitness. Little plug there for them. How is that now completing kind of your repertoire of this season? Now you have fitness for yourself personally. You have some nutrition. You have some supplements. You have some underwear, which is great. Your baby right now. So now you have another piece to your business puzzle. How is that working? What do you see happening next for you through all this kind of triangle that you've created?
with functional fitness products, that is an amazing business. I came in pretty much looking at everything that they have to offer, and we've kind of are still a team where we're figuring things out together. And right now, my role in functional fitness is I handle all the leads that come in. There's so many people that are personal trainers, already have existing gyms that don't know what to do or need so much.
Yeah.
Right. So I come in and I kind of just analyze their business. Sometimes they're not even incorporated yet. Sometimes they already have a gym where they just need, some rubber flooring, or they need turf, or they need equipment, or they don't even have a building yet.
Wow.
So I take them and I pretty much screen them and ask them all the questions. I gather all the information. And then once that's done, it goes to step 2, which is Danielle or Anthony. And then we kind of work on the quotes, meaning we'll get you an overview of what that will, the pricing would be to have, let's just say, a 50,000 square feet gym.
Yeah.
Right. And then how to build it from scratch. So it's a learning curve for me too, because I've never built the gym before, but how it's kind of coming in full circle is I love to work out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool seeing this come in full circle, because it's like I've always worked out, sport supplements, and now I get to build gyms with people.
Yeah.
So, and then also my business side of things is to help. I love helping people as you, and helping them figure out what the next step is.
And I love that. And that's why I asked you, because look, for me, I do my triangle. My main, obviously, business is the real estate development. And in that, though, my passion is to help people. And that's where I think Vibe has been birthed with my daughter and her husband, because that is creating community at a different level. Like you said, equal, meaning because we're all at different stages. At the end of the day, business is a common language in the sense of there's basic steps to take, but they're unique to each business. But at the end of the day, you still need an LLC or C corp, et cetera. So Vibe with that. And then the other part, my triangle was the podcast, because I wanted to be able to give people a voice like this. We get to hear things and get to know you. And those that really click what you're saying, they can dive into your world more, which leads to Anthony. And if they want the equipment and you, and they need nutrition or the underwear, again, girl problems that, they can relate to. So now that you're there, you sound really good. It sounds like a good plan. What are some of the tips that have helped? Because you had to be disciplined and still are. You are very reliable. In the short time I've known you, you are very reliable, very disciplined. Taking those traits that you did in your first beginning of fitness, how are you putting that together? I see you kind of creating, now you have a little bit of a master plan, right? You're like, okay, this looks good right now. I have my pillars to my foundation. What do you see for yourself? And then share that back to yourself so people can jump on your journey, because you started by what passioned it, but there's something now in the next level. How does that look for you, and how can you share that with others on this journey?
That's a great question. Where I see myself is continuing to help people grow their businesses. I think a lot of times people feel like you can't do it all, but you really can.
Yeah.
You can live a healthy lifestyle and enjoy good food too. I think a lot of people think fitness, health and wellness, you have to restrict yourself. You can only eat salads all day. No, I eat burgers. I love burgers.
Yeah.
I eat pizza. I'm a normal girl. I love my snacks.
Yeah.
But I also make sure that if I want to enjoy something, I'm going to make sure I put in the work also. Right. So the same applies with business. And I think that for me, the next step and kind of merging everything is continuing helping personal trainers, people that want to start their own business and don't know where to start, and just teaching.
Yeah.
I actually have my bachelor's degree in liberal studies. I was a third grade teacher before I started my health and wellness.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. I love teaching people.
Right.
And I know how it feels to be stuck and not know where to start.
Yeah.
And that's where I think my biggest passion comes in, is helping somebody that doesn't know what to do or how to start.
Well, you know what? I love that. And what comes to mind to me on you is blueprint. I think if I'm going to give you a plug, but a plug of sincerity, is you're going to help people create a blueprint for their life. And I don't mean this deep, no, right? I mean, like, sometimes the most common word I come across is people feeling stuck. And then when they're stuck, they don't make decisions, but they're afraid of making the wrong one.
Yeah, they're scared.
Right. So I think one of the
Anxiety.
gifts that you have from all the things you've shared, and I'm excited for our crossover in here and with Vibey, because it exposes, again, it allows, it spotlights people that need, because we all need each other, right? There's certain things that you bring to the table, you're like, and others like, oh man, you meet our girl Sandy. She can help you create a little blueprint. Awesome. And that's what you're doing with the gyms right now with Anthony. You're helping people that they have a full-blown business, not even incorporated yet. Like, what? What's that? Things like that, right?
Yeah, that happens.
I love that. So now a couple of things, because again, I knew we were going to have some great conversations organically, but I got to stay on cue here before they get me. What is something, because this is a common question that we all get asked a lot, but sometimes I like to get deep in this because it keeps me humble. What is something that keeps you humble, that you feel reminds you that never take your body for granted, that you're able to work out, not have to, but you're able to, so you run with that, and now you're able to help businesses because you don't have to. What keeps you humble, and what keeps you hungry?
What keeps me humble? My mom and my dad, they were immigrants. They came over here from Vietnam years and years ago on a ship. They were almost killed, and they started from nothing. They destroyed all their personal belongings, from what I was told, from the stories that they had. And I see them build this life for my brother, my sister, and I from nothing, and they, till this day, my mom and my dad still work longer hours than I do, where I'm like, how? Like, if my mom and my dad does not, I mean, obviously we all complain sometimes, you know, but if they can do it, like, I have no excuse. But also, I've had some pretty traumatic things that happened to me when I was younger. When I was 15, my best friend was shot, murdered, and my cousin was stabbed when I was 17. So when you go through those traumas at such a young age, it kind of wakes you up and puts like a big perspective in your life, where you're like, your life can be taken from you any second. Yeah. And with us going through those fires, like recently, like, you just never know when you can just lose everything. So I try not to take anything for granted. And I actually got into a car accident. I had disc replacement surgery less than a year ago. Wow. And I was not able to work out for a few months, and trying to get back to where I was, 10 years ago, or even just a year ago, has been a struggle. But, I try to remind myself that I have two hands, I have 2 feet, legs, I have a roof over my head, I can buy food, maybe not all the food that I want, because groceries are extremely pricey now. But, I'm so thankful for just being able to be alive, you know, and I don't know when my day will come, hopefully it's, for many more years to come. But those are what keeps me humble. And I don't know what tomorrow holds. And I just want to do everything I can to fulfill my own personal dreams, which is to help people. And and my dogs.
I love it. They're very cute, by the way. I thank you for sharing the team. Well, I love the humbleness, and I love the shout out to your parents, because they were a beautiful example of living the American dream, right? And still to this day. So I think you kind of answer what keeps you hungry in the same thing, which is you don't take things for granted. You try not to. It also, because of your humbleness, I believe, and you can add to this if you want, I believe what you are saying is it also drives you to not take it for granted. Therefore, you need to do something good with it, which you then said you want to help people. So as we kind of wrap up this, because again, I love what you're sharing, and I knew we were going to go quick, but what is something that can summarize Sandy in this season of life, that if you were a campaign yourself, not your business, just you, hi, I'm Sandy, I am my brand, what is going to summarize you? And I know it's a loaded question. Yes. But I beautifully encourage you to answer that, because you do have a gift. You do have an amazing ability to research and dive in. And I ask you this question because I want people listening and watching to connect with you, to take from you what you're willing to give.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What is Sandy?
Sandy is a person who loves to figure out how to heal herself naturally through food, through finding myself, and like how to be a better person every day,
Mm-hmm.
right? I feel like my analogy in life is there's no right or wrong answer ever.
Mm-hmm.
There's no set, like, they say you need to be on X diet, or you need to do this type of workout. I don't think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think that as an individual, we're so different, and we don't have to follow the rules. There's no rules. There's only
Right.
rules in our head.
Right.
So I want to relay that message that you can do and be whoever you want.
Yeah.
And you can figure out how to do it in your own way and still be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that, Sandy. I think that's a great answer and summary, because even today, one of my quotes was that, our limitation is what we set,
Mm-hmm.
right? And,
Exactly.
and I think what I see you as being, if I was your campaign manager, which I'm not, because I'm not a marketing person, but just in the lieu of our conversation, I would say you're the unstuck blueprint of life for people, because you're constantly doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And I love you to run with that, because I think that, again,
Thank you.
we all need to bridge and help. So
Mhm.
I love that, Sandy. Well, I have really enjoyed hearing you share why you do things, how you do them, how you took the humbleness and honoring your parents. Just, from an outsider, you're humbling them and honoring them
Mhm.
by you doing good with your life. Because as a parent, I think one of the worst things that'd be is that you do all these sacrifices for your kids.
Yes.
And then not only are they ungrateful for them, they're like wasting the talent. And I don't know your sister or your brother, but at least no matter what, 1 out of 3 is good. Maybe they're all like
They're
you.
amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
Then your parents can say they did well.
Yeah.
And Sandy, thank you for sharing. We're going to obviously put all the info on your journey. And guys, you got to check out her social. She shares a lot of her things, her journey, why she does it. And I love it because it's applicable. You're not over the top. And I say that respectfully. There's
Thank
many
you.
people that are just a little over the top. And like, we need to, I hate using the word dumb it down for people, because I know I'm a simple guy. So I'm going to say we're going to simplify it for people,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, I don't want to make things complicated either.
Yeah, life isn't complicated. It
Yeah.
really is simple.
Yeah.
We overcomplicate it as
Yep.
humans by overthinking, and we get lost in our thoughts. But yeah, simplicity is everything.
Well, Sandy, thank you. Is there any
Thank
last
you.
words you want to say to our people?
GetVibey.com.
Okay.
That brought us together. And I just wanted to throw out like a quick thing for you guys too, for like, know your weaknesses too. Like, I know my weaknesses is I don't enjoy doing email templates. I don't enjoy certain things. I don't know anything about lighting in
Right.
doing a podcast or anything. I would like to, but I love your platform, because I feel like you have people that know how to do all these things, which is great. So thank you for building such a great platform too. I think it's going to be huge. And yeah, we're looking forward to the next journey.
Thank you, Sandy. And guys, thank you for tuning in for Positive Traction. I'm just honored to have great friends and guests on the show. Till next time, God bless and thank you.
Thank you.